Hello, my name is Rick Delgado with NufrontierPictures. Thanks so much for logging on and clicking on this video. May the 4th be with you. It's the 4th of May. So I'm doing a quick review, hopefully it's fast, of the GH4, the Lumix GH4 by Panasonic. Awesome camera, just had it only for the past 3 days, so this is just a quick peek look. Hopefully at one point I can do a more extensive review, but just want to go over the stuff that's in the box. USB strap, DVD you'll never use, probably, and your manuals that obviously I myself very seldomly go to as well. The one thing I purchased in addition, or a few things I purchased in addition to the camera, is the side grip. Same side grip as the GH3, which is really nice. If you had that camera, that just works right perfectly right onto here. I love the fact that the camera itself, and I'm not sure because I am a newbie with this camera, but you have a battery insert here, which is right in between the side grip, and you have another battery insert here. And it's really kind of nice. And what I did is I purchased an additional 2 batteries just to have some backup there. And this has not gone into field testing yet, and it will soon. And once I do that, hopefully I'll get some more info back for you guys. So some pros: cards, SD cards. All you need is SD cards to shoot. For the most part, there is a specific card that you need for 4K acquisition, which is the U3 version. You can look it up. It's 280 megabytes per second. It's the Extreme Pro, capital P-R-O, not the capital P and lowercase or R-O. For some reason, there is a major difference between those, and it definitely looks different if you can look closely here. Definitely looks different than your regular HD cards. There's kind of like another layer panel there. So that's what I'm shooting on this one. But if you're shooting 1080p, I haven't tested yet, but from what I hear, you can use your other class 10 cards that I used when I had the FS700 I used a lot and shot with, or the FS100. So you have these cards you can definitely have as a backup. Another pro is the focusing. I don't have an actual micro four thirds autofocus lens that I'm using on this camera yet, although I'm shopping for one right now. But when I do, I'll let you guys know what I think. But the autofocus, from what I hear from other reviews from some really great people, it's revolutionary. Another pro is the EVF is sick. It's so good. It's nice because when we're based out of Miami. When we're out here, the sun is so powerful, especially now we're going to the summer. It's nice to be able to get in there and just be able to see an image really nice and perfect for, for focusing and everything. So really love the EVF. Obviously, major pro on this thing is 4K internal recording. That's 420 at 8-bit, which is kind of what we've been shooting. If you were on Canon or still on Canon, the 5Ds, that's pretty much what it is, your color space. It does, out of the micro HDMI, which I can't believe, out of that little connection, you're getting 422 10-bit. And there's obviously that crazy looking box that you guys have also seen out there, this one, that allows you to connect, XLR cables and mics, and you can get Phantom on there as well. You have your audio levels in the back, although you can do it on here as well. I think it kind of defeats the purpose of having a small compact camera, but I do understand the usage if you have a crew to be able to kind of maintain and use it, maintain and work it. Obviously in studio, it makes perfect sense. I opted for the side grip just because for me, I'd rather have a camera that I'm running and gunning with. I have other cameras that we use for different types of jobs, and this one, I just feel like it needs to maintain its compactability. But it is a cool box. Obviously, it's getting you via the SDI 4K video outs. You have 4 of them quad, 422 10-bit. That's really nice. Coming out of there. And from what I hear, there is a review that was done by Zacuto, and the gentleman that was there spoke about that this is actually, out of the HDMI, micro HDMI, you're getting the 4K 422 at 10-bit as well. There's just, in the market, there's no recorder yet that can do that via HDMI. So maybe there's one coming in the future fairly quickly. We know how fast the industry is going. Stills photography. I'm a photographer and a cinematographer, so I'm kind of, those are my paths. I bounce back and forth all the time. I've been shooting with it for the past day or two. Beautiful. And I love the silent shutter. We got to always remember this is a mirrorless camera, which is really, really nice and fast. 12 frames a second is enough. I'm not shooting sports photography, so this works perfectly for me. Few cons here, out there, and I haven't seen it yet. I haven't really zoomed into a lot of the photography I've shot, that there's some gradation issues. I'll look into that. Battery life, I got 2 batteries out. It's basically powering up by 2 battery sources, and I've had this camera on now for at least an hour and a half testing it before doing this thing, and I got full bars right now. So I don't know, I got to see a little bit more and do some more research on that. Placement of the HDMI out is just ridiculous. This is the one thing that just makes no sense to me. It's here. You know, this is where this opens up, but then you can't, if that's connected, you cannot use your monitor here, and that just kind of made no sense to me. Why not have all these connectors on this side, swap out the slot for the card on this side, just swap it. But who am I? I am not a mechanic or internal engineer or whatever you want to call these guys. So maybe there's a real good purpose or real good reason why it is what it is, but really kind of drives me crazy not being able to use a swivel here once I'm connected HDMI out. One thing I wanted to mention is the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is really kind of cool. I think it's one of the coolest things about this camera. You know, I purchased, when I had the 1DC, I shot with it for a little while, I loved it. We bought that little connector, forget the name of it, but it was a pain in the butt to figure out how to connect the thing so that we can get, and we just returned it. And with this, it's been just a pleasure. It really connects. You just download the app on your iPhone, your iPad, and I think it's also Android enabled. And you're good to go. You just connect Wi-Fi, and with once you have everything up and running, it basically sends out a signal, a Wi-Fi signal that you're able to connect. Basic is it's just like a Wi-Fi connection. You connect to the Wi-Fi and it's right up on your screen beautifully. So I really kind of love the simplicity and how they did it, because it really is just pretty straightforward. And you can do remote shooting. You can shoot and you can see everything that you're shooting. The only thing I can't figure out yet is video playback. Obviously been able to look at images, playback on images, but when it comes to video playback via Wi-Fi, I have not been able to figure it out. There's probably a way of doing it. I gotta just keep experimenting with it. I'm gonna move forward here. Lenses. What I got right now going on here is I got an adapter, an EOS adapter, micro 4/3 EOS adapter, and I have a small little thin converter from the Canon to Nikon, and I have a Nikon Carl Zeiss 35 1.4. It's one of my go-to lenses. It kind of lives at 2.0 all the time, along with the 85 version of this, but this is the EF version. You'll have to have a Metabones connector or Metabones adapter to be able to get an electronic signal through it to be able to change aperture on these manual lenses. And obviously, if you're connecting a lens like the 24-70, like I'm being shot on right now from Canon, the autofocusing, all that has not been, I have not dealt with it. I have not played with it yet, but I'm sure it should work. And I wanted to go over just quick another adapter. Here's an adapter. This is an FD adapter for old Canon FD lenses. There's some amazing FD lenses out there, and I mean, I used to shoot with it back when we shot film. And it was awesome. And here's one lens in particular that I love. This is the 55 1.2. It's gorgeous, super fast, prime, fabulous lens. And I shoot with this all the time. And I'm so happy I can just put this adapter on here, go right onto this camera, and we're good to go. And then there's other lenses. There's a 20, the 2.8, also by Canon FD mount. Here's a 17. You kind of definitely have to figure out the wider side of this lens, the wider side of this camera, because the fact that you're cropping into your focal length pretty extremely. I mean, if you're putting like this, you're putting this lens on here, it's 2 times crop. So really this 35 is more like a 50 something or 60, maybe even an 85. And if you're putting the 85 on there, you're into like 100 something. If you're using a micro four thirds, the crop is 1.44. So you got to keep that in effect. So your wide side needs to be figured out. Excuse me. So I think it's just a bunch of FD lenses. They're fun and they're cheap. I am looking into purchasing some of the micro four thirds lenses. I'm doing a bunch of research as to which lens to go with. There are some great lenses. I got some great notes, and I'm going to tell you the lenses I've been told that I definitely need to have. These are all primes. There's a 20. This is by Lumix. There's a 20 1.7. There's a 25 1.4. There's a 12 2.0. There's a 45 1.8. There's an Olympus 17 1.8. Needs to be looked at. There's this Nocton. Never heard of the company, but apparently it's kind of pretty awesome. Is a 42.5, and that's a 0.95. That's pretty rad. There's this video I saw online that I saw these lenses look kind of nice. Olympus 45 1.8, Panasonic Leica 25 1.4, Panasonic Leica Nocturnium 42.5 millimeter with 1.4 f-stop. Those are the lenses that I'm looking at. I know I'm going to do like I want to get an equivalence to what a 2470 is to my Canon. As soon as I find some of this stuff, I'll keep feeding it over to you guys. Listen, thanks so much for logging on. Sorry for the long video. Hopefully, you know, something, you gain something out of this. One last thing, anamorphic lenses, really cool. I just got this from Russia, figuring out how to mount it onto one of these lenses. But this is also pretty cool too. There's a great anamorphic kind of shooter's guide by Andrew Reed at EOSHD if you want to get into anamorphic lenses as well, which is kind of cool. I forgot to say that. But cool, thanks so much. Enjoy it. I hope you guys get this camera and give me feedback and let me know what your experiments lead to. Thanks so much.